Recording in progress.
Past is home with COVID protocols. And then, so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to turn it over to John. He's going to walk us through the organizational part of this meeting, which is very formal piece and talk about what we do and how we do it. We'll give a little bit of an explanation. That'll last 10, 15 minutes or so. And then after that, we'll slide over into the physical piece. The most important thing we're going to do for the organization is swear in our 2 new board members. So we'll do that while we do the oaths. That's what we're going to do. All 3 swearing in. Sorry, 2 new ones and the old one. So yeah, there'll be 3 close of office, and then we have Gina Sampson. She is zooming in as well as Tiffany, and they're also in the protocol. So that's what we're going to do when we start.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's organizational meeting board. Go ahead and call roll. Mr. Schwederman. Present. Ms. Khan. Ms. Bolton.
Here.
And Mr. Wilson.
Here. Right, sir. It'll be documented.
Thank you. At this point, we'd like to take the oath of office. Would the 3 of you like to do this together or individually? Together? Okay.
Are you saying individually? Oh.
Let's do it individually.
Okay. So, Mr. Wilson, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Oakwood School District in Montgomery County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during the continuance of said office until your successor is elected and qualified? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Oakwood School District, Montgomery County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during the continuance of said office until your successor is elected and qualified? Solemnly swear and affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as a member of the Board of Education of the Oakwood School District, Montgomery County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during the continuance of said office until your successor is elected and qualified.
Congratulations.
We'll take a motion to adopt tonight's organizational meeting agenda as presented. Second. Dina, are you going to call?
I'm having problems. The structure of the meeting, so I did not hear the first and the second. I apologize.
Go ahead and do that.
Okay. Mr. Wilson? Aye. Mr. Schwederman? Sorry. Ms. Fly? And Dr. Cool.
Hi.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't expect you to do this. Recommendation is made to conduct a board meeting second meeting each month at 7 p.m. with the exception of November. Special meetings are conducted as set by the board and procedures provided by the board policy section. We need recommendation and a second to set the meeting schedule as identified.
So
Second. Mr. Sweeterman? Aye. Dr. Bolton?
Aye.
Ms. Bly? And Mr. Wilson?
Aye. Better get this rhythm down.
Again, getting better. Recommendation is made to approve the following agenda applications for special and regular needs and laws of persons. Agencies and those requesting notification include time, place, date, and agenda. Need a motion. Mr. Moulton? I'm sorry, Dr. Moulton?
Aye.
Middle.
Ms. Bly?
We're trying to speak up.
Mr. Sweeterman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
We have items C, board appointed liaisons. The liaisons as listed in the agenda appointed to the committees. Do I have a motion to approve?
I think that's just information.
And item 4A, authorization of the treasurer. Recommendations made to grant authorization to the treasurer to request advance collection taxes from the county auditor. The approval of the motion gives the treasurer authorization to obtain advance tax collections throughout the year and invest the funds as quickly as possible. Do I have a motion? Okay, so this recommendation is authorizing the treasurer to ask for tax collections as they come in at the county auditor's office. We talked about this briefly in the workshop. We're going to go through each one of these just so that you all know what it is you're voting on. This is so that Gina can file with the county auditor, asking the county auditor to release any tax payments as they come in and are paid at the county. Absent us asking for that and receiving those advanced funds, the county auditor holds on to those advancements until all of the taxes have been collected and then makes one payment. Obviously, that can be problematic from a cash flow. Mr. Wilson? Aye. Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Mr. Sweeterman? Aye. And Ms. Clark? Recommendation is made to grant authorization to treasurer to advance or transfer funds when necessary prior to the Board of Education meetings during the 2022 calendar year. Do I have a recommendation? Moved. In a second? Second. So we'll have different situations where the funds need to be moved from one account to another and facilitate continued processes. Sometimes those funds need to be moved in between the months that you have approved those transfers or be able to approve them at a board level. You will still approve them, but this authorization allows the treasurer to make that transfer temporarily until such time that we're able to bring it to the board meeting and have you all vote to say that it's okay to make that transfer. In the event the treasurer did make that transfer and use the Board of Education did not want that transfer to happen, and you didn't approve it at the board meeting, then we would reverse the transfer and take other steps in order to run it down. But this gives us the ability to at least make the transfer and cover the expenses. Mr. Sweeterman? Aye. Mr. Wilson? Aye. Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Dr. Milton? Recommendation is made to grant authorization to the treasurer to invest excess funds of all funds in legal instruments according to the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion?
Second.
So we have an investment policy that the board has approved in the past. That investment policy details out what we can and can't invest. We are not allowed to invest in things like the stock market, different companies. There's very secure funds. Investments have to be inside of that investment policy, conservative. This allows us to proceed with those investments to make as much money as we can, given the conservative nature of the portfolio. Any questions? Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt? Aye. Ms. Bly?
Aye.
And Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Recommendation is made to grant authorization to treasurer to pay all routine operational bills within the limits of the appropriations, provided funds are available. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. This allows, once the board adopts an appropriation measure, which you have and the previous board has, and that's how we do the budget. Inside that appropriation measure, this authorizes the treasurer to pay any of the bills inside of that level. If the bills were to exceed the appropriation level that we would be authorized to pay, you as a board have to approve the appropriation level. Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Mill? Mr. Schmiederman?
Aye.
Dr. Milton? Our recommendation is made to grant authorization to the treasurer to enter into commercial credit purchasing card agreements. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
So in order to facilitate more efficient purchasing, we do have a couple credit cards, purchasing cards really, not credit cards, purchasing cards tied directly still to the appropriation to the bank account. So the funds have to be appropriated by the board. The purchase orders still have to be in place. We still have to follow all the rules, but it does expedite some more online purchases. This authorizes those transactions. Mr. Schmiederman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Any questions on any of the treasury authorizations? Item 5A, legal services. Recommendation to make grant authorization to superintendent treasurer to utilize the services of law firms. Cross, Brown, Todd, and Berkman Eckler, and Hetzel and Ambrose Tobacco Health for legal assistance and counseling for 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Item 6A, recommendation is made to recognize the Oakwood Teachers Association as bargaining unit for teachers during 2022. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Recommendation is made to the Oakwood Board of Education to participate in the Ohio School Boards Association during 2022.
Second.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Recommendation is made to adopt the resolution to join the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund for the calendar year 2022. The resolution is provided below. Do I have a recommendation? Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Schmiederman,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Dr. Milton,
Aye.
Ms. Bly.
Aye.
Recommendation is made to appoint treasurer or treasurer's designee of the board's public records training designee for 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And just as a point of information on this, the state requires that each public officer and board member have so many hours of public records training, just to make sure the district's going through the appropriate public records protocols. The board is able, in fact, with this motion, designate the treasurer as their representative, make sure to get that training to make sure that we're compliant with all the law. Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Dr. Middleton,
Aye.
Ms. Bly,
Aye.
Mr. Stewart.
Aye.
Recommendation is made to appoint Dr. Middleton as delegate and Ms. Bly as an alternate to the Ohio School Boards Association annual conference.
So moved. I'll second.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Schmiederman,
Aye.
Dr. Middleton,
Aye.
and Ms. Bly.
Aye.
Recommendation is made to appoint Director of Education Services and Supervisor of Special Education as the anti-harassment complaint coordinator for 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Dr. Milton.
Aye.
Ms. Bly.
Aye.
Mr. Schmiederman.
Aye.
It's an informational item. The superintendent has made the following appointments. Any questions, comments? At this point, the recommendation is made to elect officers, president, and vice president.
I recommend Bonnie Will as president. Second that motion.
On the matter, Todd Willow as president. Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Schmiederman,
Aye.
Dr. Middleton,
Aye.
Ms. Bly.
Aye.
Open nomination for vice president.
I'd like to put forth nomination, Mr. Wilson, serve as vice president of the board.
On the matter of Mr. Wilson as vice president of the Board of Education, Mr. Schmiederman,
Aye.
Dr. Middleton,
Aye.
Ms. Bly,
Aye.
and Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Congratulations there, Mr. Newell.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
The voice of God.
Unless there are other questions, that organization meeting is recommended to be adjourned. Motion. Dr. Milton,
Aye.
Ms. Bly,
Aye.
Mr. Schmiederman,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
We're going to transition into the regular meeting. Newell is not in the room.
Aye.
We'll call this meeting to order, January 10th, 2022, the Oakland Board of Education regular board meeting. James, we got a roll call.
Yes. Dr. Milton? Ms. Boyd? Mr. Schwederman?
Present.
Mr. Wilson?
Here. All right, you all please rise and join us for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recommend a motion to adopt tonight's agenda. Dan?
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Ms. Boyd?
Aye.
Mr. Schwederman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye. Motion carries. Second is an approval, I recommend approval for the minutes of December 13th, 2021, Oakland Board of Education regular meeting and work session. Need a motion? Mr. Shaw?
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Ms. Boyd?
Aye.
Mr. Schwederman? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye. Motion carries. Next is accommodations and public comments.
Got a couple of guests with us today. If I could have Max and Deshaun come on up. We're going to tell you a little bit about our last principal superintendent advisory council. Yellow and purple.
Thank you, Brian. So, the superintendent advisory board, the last thing that we talked about really was one of our main things was our roads in our school. We just talked about changing them and like if that'd be good and like not to be good and if they like it or not like it. And we all took everyone's opinions and also we even brought out like why it would be good, and if it's some of the goals, it would look good for us. It would make us more of an all-inclusive school because of our school does have a big part in the. Well, let me step back. The reason why it would be changed, the ropes to one color, is because of the fact that we do have a lot of kids that aren't non-binary and don't really want to be labeled as a boy or a girl, and for them to be able to go through graduation, that's a big day for all of us and our young high school careers. And so like I came up with the idea for it was because of the fact that we are one Oakland and we should all be united with each other and all kind of stand together. And some of the reasons why not to change it would be because of the fact that it's tradition here and of course blue and white, and the fact that like it really like kind of like brings us all together and stuff like pictures and stuff like that. So that was one of the main things, and so we talked about it in the schools or my peers. We're still talking about it in classes and the interviews and just seeing how all of us would feel about that change.
Good evening, school board and community members. My name is Max Cuddy. I'm a sophomore at OHS, member of the principal superintendent advisory council, where we work with Dr. Waller and Dr. Rainey to provide a student voice in administrative decisions. The two topics we discussed recently that I will be covering today are the mask mandate and phone use regulation. For clarity, any mention of student refers to the principal superintendent advisory councils, not the student body as a whole. In regards to the recent mask mandate, the students came to a general consensus. The students overall felt safer with the mask, and that wearing masks did not significantly impact most of the school curriculum. One point that stood out within the curriculum where attachment was found was foreign language classrooms. Students shared that they noticed a decrease in interaction and general class engagement when everyone began wearing masks. It's likely due to the conversational nature of those courses. Looking forward to phone use regulation, we agreed that while phones are often used in a classroom setting, there are many productive to learn use cases for cell phones. My fellow students and I know from experience that oftentimes some students will choose to spend a period on the phone rather than on the curriculum content at hand. On the contrary, however, phone usage can often be positive. Many students use their devices for educational or co-curricular purposes, or quickly and properly for personal use. In conclusion, we found that while some form of phone regulation would be beneficial, it is important to maintain student ability to use it within the guidelines of a proper classroom experience for both educational and quick personal use. Thank you for your time.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
I have a question about the vote. Are you leaving?
We will still be not at this moment, but it's still an ongoing thing, and we still want to make sure that everyone's voice and opinion is heard, and we also really feel like we took a good look at for us and make it great decision for our school and the future.
First year.
So I don't know if this was the first time it was. Oh,
The question was, if this has been the first year that.
I don't know if this was the first time, and probably Dr. Wallace probably after that, or Dr. Raymond.
It's come up before, in the last couple of years. Kids can choose whatever color they want, but it has come up with something that students felt like had to give them ownership, maybe one or two big things to work on together. And that, for other years, maybe that didn't come up with big things more common this year. Came up with something to be had a good conversation about. Yeah, it's really a good group, and they don't only find it, they have tough questions, they give us open and honest opinions, and we appreciate that. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here in front of all of us as well, so thank you for doing that. This group's open to the entire student body, so anybody who wants to be on can. We ask for recommendations of anybody that might be good. We also put out there and say, class meetings and things, if you want to be on it, be on it. So it's a 9 through 12 once a month meeting, and it's a lot of good feedback from the students. They come up with great ideas, and we get to run some things by them as well. Dr. Raby and I get their feedback on things. All right. Yes, thank you. Good job. Thank you. All right. We've got another group, really good group of folks, and I'm going to turn it over to Bree Andrews, who's our Oakland School Foundation Director. And I know Ms. Johnson is back there as well. We've got check presentation, hard work that they've been doing. You guys have yeah.
All right, so you this way. So. All right. Hello, I hope this is loud enough. My name is Bree Andrews. I am the Administrative Director with the Oakwood Schools Foundation. Very excited to be here tonight. Thank you to the students. Thank you to the charities that are here. We are here for Philanthropy 101. Philanthropy 101 is an opportunity for students to learn more about local area charities. It was designed by the former board member Joel Frieden with the goal to teach students about philanthropy and teach the importance of giving one's time, talent, treasure to serve others. High school juniors and seniors enrolled in Wall Street 101, taught by the wonderful Miss Natalie Johnson, who you guys cannot see on camera but is here. Learn about learn about local area charities, and then present their learnings at the end of the semester as part of a final presentation that they're judged on. Based on their presentations, the organizations are awarded a charitable gift thanks to the generous financial support from the Angela and Joel Fragman Philanthropic Fund, Vince Russell and the Johnson Investment Council, as well as the Robert Wagner and family. So thank you so much to our donors. The program would also not be possible without the support of Oakwood High School and Oakwood business teacher Natalie Johnston. I'm very excited tonight to present our two winners, as there were two periods. We have K-12 Gallery in Tejas, represented by their founder, Jerry Stannard, and we have the Bog Ministries, represented by their founder, Jason Johnston. So without further ado, I'm going to have the students from those groups present their award and their certificate. And again, thank you guys so much for participating. It was really lovely to learn. And if you have anything you would like to say, go ahead. So we'll start with Kate, the Bog Ministries.
I wish I had something to say. It was a great time. They do a lot of good work, and I love trying to help out communities. And I love people that give food to those in need. And I think food is always one of those things that we're always going to need. So thank you.
Can you guys just pose?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, wow, we got you. Okay, thank you. K-12 Gallery in Tejas.
Great and very unique opportunity to help the charity, and I really appreciate all of helping people with therapy.
So as I said, your charity was actually brought. We chose it because of Anna. So learning more about charity really gave me a very outlook about you guys. The fact that in the surrounding Dayton area, there's not really a lot of charities like you guys. So the fact that you guys are this outlet for kids that want to help the game at all, and it's to be able to like spend the time. And also I commend you guys on your rehabilitation program for kids that are at risk who are at juvenile. So I really like that part.
I just had a lot of fun researching and looking at what you guys did. I've always seen all your past. You guys have an amazing ability, and I've never really known.
And this was something super interesting. I've lived in Dayton since I was 5. And, I've never really claimed to be a Daytonian. And throughout this experience, it's just really showed me like what Dayton has to offer. And I just thought it was super cool that there's a program out there like this, and it just really made me feel proud to be from Dayton. Just made me happy.
What amazing affirmation. I have these beautiful teenagers. That just warms my heart. Thank you so much. Wonderful affirmations. And I know Stephen Yates is really the young man you guys were working with, not me. My much younger chief operating officer. He is I'm here gladly accepting. And what great affirmation. Wonderful things that you said. And keep going hopefully for generations to come with your generosity.
Can I get you to step in? Thank you guys so much. Thank you for making yourself available.
It's always a really special thing for kids to recognize, and the whole idea of how to evaluate different charities, lots of folks deserve money from how you sort through that and the process for kids to evaluate and simple things like what's going directly to the charity, where's the money going, how's that, and they present the interview and they discuss it. It's a great program. Just a great thing that's going on. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I would say 7 or 8 years. well done. I've got a few more commendations here. If we can, so January is school board recognition month. Oakwood has a dedicated board of education providing members who are informed, hardworking, and most importantly, student-centered. We're pleased to recognize Todd Duwell, John Wilson, Aaron Sweeterman, Lauren Kawhi, and Lauren Middleton for their leadership and their services to the Oakwood community. So thank you. And we've got posters back at the board room, and there's a certificate of appreciation. Thank you. Yeah. Of course. Special thank you to our students and staff and families who participated in service projects before the holidays. All kinds of different service projects going on. And Smith Elementary, for example, created a lot of excitement around the donation that were able to fill 17 barrels of food. In addition to the food, Harmon also did a hat and mitten drive for the benefit of refugee families who are making their home in the Dayton area. And then Oakwood High School student council members did their part to benefit patients and needy children by donating gifts to the hospital, their annual holiday pointing drive. So like our students on a regular basis, it's something that we want to make sure that they continue to do. Our families are great about giving and keeping their children about philanthropy and how to give back to the community. And we partner with them in order to make some of those things happen. So those things happen before the holidays. And then we've got a couple of other things I want to share. One is good luck to the cast and crew of the Oakwood High. Production of flyers, a musical comedy about the Wright brothers, which will be presented on the 21st and 22nd. And then also next up in the theater department is The Wizard of Oz, which is going to be a musical this year. And that is March 10th through 12th. And you can stay up to date on the arts and Oakwood schools. You can visit the Oakwood Fine Arts Booster section of the Dayton, the district website. The last thing I want to do is I just want to recognize over the break, Dr. Scalzo was our superintendent before me, and she was just a tremendous educator in all kinds of ways. Great mentor to me. She was a leader of the district. She was a teacher. One of the things we have to do in superintendent school is my training. My training was in secondary. So I had to learn a little bit about elementary. Well, Dr. Scalzo happened to be my professor. This is back when she was superintendent here, and I knew her very well. She was my superintendent or my professor at UD for elementary education. And I walked in there, and I was in a room full of other people that were trained in elementary, and they had that. They wanted to be in elementary. So I had to take this course. I was the only secondary guy walking there, and she taught me quite a bit, and she was very good natured about it, but it was very clear that I had no idea what I was talking about when it came to putting a schedule together for an elementary school. What that meant to share people. But she taught me a lot there. She taught me a lot in the transition. And she was in this job, and I was transitioning into this job, and she just made my life better. She certainly did. And I think we were all better because of her leadership. The district moved forward under her guidance, and we continue to benefit from all of her hard work. It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony, and lots of people there. So just wanted to take a minute to recognize the work of Dr. Scalzo. There are no public comments.
Next up is curriculum showcase.
Okay. Tonight, Amy Samosky and Bridget Fiore will showcase the multi-year plan for our social emotional learning. This includes an introduction and the reasons for SEL. And additionally, they will highlight a few of the first year goals and accomplishments, along with a vision for what's next in the SEL process.
SEL is social emotional learning. It's the process by which students and adults learn those building skills and mindsets that help to make them successful throughout their educational career and then beyond graduation. So skills such as feelings identification, self-management, self-regulation, responsible decision-making, positive relationships, things like that are what we're talking about when we're talking about our social emotional skills. Why of it is, even prior to the pandemic, schools were seeing a huge number of referrals for just social and emotional struggles, emotional distress, anxiety, and depression from their students. And then the pandemic sort of catapulted that into a huge increase across the board. We need something to support our students kindergarten through 12th grade. Ohio saw this as a need starting in 2019. They developed social emotional learning standards pre-K to grade 12. You can find that on the ODE website. And so when you look at that and you look at schools who have implemented social emotional learning in a very strategic and systematic manner, what you're finding is an increase in academic performance, a decrease in emotional distress, a decrease in disruptive behaviors, decrease in substance abuse issues, increase in classroom engagement, and increase in positive relationships that are reported by students. So overall, a wide variety of positive outcomes from social emotional learning.
In addition to big picture benefits, systematic implementation of SEL provides a lot of data-based benefits as well. Probably what speaks to me most is that it provides 11% academic gains when intentionally placed into school systems. It also gives back $11 to each dollar spent. Furthermore, 6 out of the 10 workplace skills wanted by the World Economic Forum are part of the social emotional 5 major competencies. And then if we just talk about kind of the nation, students ages 5 to 11 have shown 24% increase in visits to the emergency rooms for mental health reasons than they did before the pandemic. It's about a 31% increase in visits for students who are ages 12 to 17. So there's a high need of supports.
For SEL to be effective in a school system, it has to be systematic and it has to be strategic. So there is a lot of taking our time to look and consider before just leaping in. We never want to just add one more thing to the plate that's going to be shoved aside later on. So we have been very thoughtful and very intentional with our planning of SEL for this district. As you kind of see behind me, this is our work and what we hope to accomplish over the next few years. And if you kind of focus in here, we start with adult SEL, well really in setting the foundation, looking at our climate and culture, adult SEL, student SEL, community involvement, looking at our continuous improvement planning, and then kind of looking at SEL and is there a connection with EDI and where do those roads kind of cross. So this year we've been very intentional about starting with adult SEL. Just with any other academic subject, reading, writing, science, social studies, we can't ask teachers to teach SEL or do SEL activities until they have a full understanding of what it is and what they're expected to do with that. I would never be able to go into a classroom and teach reading without some instruction on how to do it. So we started with the adults in our building. And really that's twofold. One, do they understand it? What is their competencies? What are their capabilities with social emotional learning? And then two, to figure out if the adults and if the staff in our buildings have taken care of themselves enough to help take care of our students. From there then, we will move on to community involvement, student SEL, and looking at that big picture, but systematically, strategically, because we know in order to be successful, we have to look at that big picture.
Here we are midway through our first year and we've already had a lot of progress. Here's just a list of the things we've already done this year. We've created vision statement for the district. We've created student and staff SEL related goals. We've developed an SEL district team that has at least about 30 to 40% of our staff voluntarily join. We've conducted focus groups with well over 150 staff members. We've educated staff at all of our professional development days before school and after school and with some PLCs. We've supported relationship building district-wide to enhance the well-being of our staff. We have implemented panorama surveys and analyzed the data. We've created a district-wide website. We'd love you to check it out. We've created monthly newsletters that have a great open rate, so thank you to those of you who have read them. And we are evaluating lots of programs that support our students and trying to see what works and what we need. So we're really excited by what we've accomplished already this year.
Our next steps are going to be continued and ongoing professional development for our staff, beginning to consider as a whole, collectively, what does SEL and what will SEL look like in the classroom. And we're going to explore community outreach activities so that we can begin to engage our families and build partnerships within the community. At this time, I would really encourage you to check out our website, read our newsletters, and reach out to Bridget or myself with any questions, concerns, or comments. We would love to hear from you.
Thanks, Tracy. I know sometimes you go, oh, that's loud, but thanks for shifting a 24-hour notice into a new environment and managing all of this into the Zoom environment and participation. It's a big deal. So thank you, Tracy, for all of that.
Thank you, Ms. Simosi and Ms. Fiore. Next up is board reports. Go ahead and start and then board reports. Follow up. So from the Open Schools Foundation, their Board of Education update for January 2022. The Open Schools Foundation is looking forward to this year. The foundation and trustees are kicking off the new year with a slate of annual programs. The first is the Polymer Entrepreneurship Competition, and they are accepting submissions until January of 31st. Open high school students are encouraged to shadow an entrepreneur and then write about their experience, focusing on what makes up the entrepreneurial spirit. Last year, there was a record number of submissions, so the trustees are looking forward to reading students' essays. Nominations for the Partners of Teaching and Lifelong Learning Award are now being accepted. The award was created in 2010 by former Oakland teacher Beth Parker in memory of her late husband Robert Bobler. The award recognizes a long-serving, outstanding educator in any of the open schools that has gone above and beyond and for the students. Last year's winner was Carmen's 6th grade teacher, Tim Fleck. For more information or to submit a nomination letter, please contact Bree Andrews at theopenschools.org. And next up is the student alumni ambassador from the Oakwood Alumni Association. So Student Alumni Ambassadors, Oakwood High School Alumni Student Ambassador Group is launching a podcast this spring. Students will host a podcast connecting with alum, sharing alum experiences on how Oakwood shaped them into who they are today, and providing updates on school events. We will soon have more exciting details on how you can connect with Oakwood students, past and present. I love podcasts, that's pretty exciting stuff. That's pretty cool. Communication, we are now collecting information for the next issue of the alumni newsletter. The next newsletter is set to go out in February. Information is being gathered via email and social media. Also, on the topic of social media, started sharing and highlighting featured articles on alumni and have had a great response from our following, Alumni Association. And then reunion, Caitlin is continuing to confirm upcoming reunions with class reps. The class of 1967 is currently surveying to see if there are members of the class who would be interested, feel comfortable attending an in-person reunion. In the process of planning building tours for the class of 1970 reunion live, and then updating information as it comes in to ensure class lists are up to date. That's what's going on with the reunions. And then fundraising for the Alumni Foundation, working with OSF on Howard Sales Scholarship, Flourish, and following up on broadcasting students. That's it from those two organizations. Any more board reports at this time? All right. Next up is budget and finance. Shaw.
You have the monthly financial report submitted for your approval.
recommendation is made to approve the monthly financial reports.
So moved.
Sean?
And just before I call roll, this is, as we talked about in the work session, this is that monthly report that compares actuals about where we are to what our financial plan is. Mr. Sweeterman?
Aye.
Ms. Bly? Aye. Dr. Milton? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye. Motion carries. Next up is recommendation is made to approve the new Ohio minimum wage of $9.30 per hour effective January 1st, 2022.
No. Dr. Milton? Ms. Bly? Aye. Mr. Sweeterman? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye. Motion carries. We have any unfinished business? New business. Next up is administrative reports and superintendent's recommendations.
All right, on 8A, recommendations made to approve the high school and junior high program studies and presented at the December 13th, 2021 board meeting.
Recommendations. So moved.
There was just to clarify, there was a little bit of a clerical change in that, that it was not substantial material, so we did walk it back another month, but it was exactly the same. But it, so, we went to
Sean?
Mr. Sweeterman? Aye. Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 8B, recommendation is made to approve the attached resolution authorizing the hiring of substitute. So this is, the state is giving us a little bit more latitude to hire subs. Subs are really getting enough quality folks in the classroom. And we have very high standards for a substitute, but this is going to allow us to hire some folks that may not have a bachelor's degree. But still have to go through the background check, still have to get people character, all of those things. But it allows us to expand that, and it's a temporary thing. It will only last through June of this year, and there is some talk about whether it's or not. For us right now, we're only talking about it's per year to help fill some of those gaps.
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Sweeterman? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Item 8C, recommendation made to adopt the policies as presented at the December 13th, 2021 board meeting.
Do I have a motion for item 8C?
There's a long list there. Share. What policy that we try to keep up on.
Mr. Shaw?
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Dr. Milton?
Aye.
Mr. Sweeterman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
The next few are informational, so the field trip, Omen, Ohio Model United Nations, they're going to be going, let's see where they're going. They're going to the junior high, Ohio United Nations, traveling to Columbus Park. And of course, that can change depending on their national security, COVID, and all the other people. So, field trips like that. Item 8E is presented for review of the 2022 summer school reading program. Plans are requested for the February meeting. Also, twice a year, we do a semi-annual report for bullying and other aggressive behavior. And so this time we had 2 incidents of aggressive behavior bullying at the high school and one at the farm. We posted it on our website. The regulation is something that we do on a regular basis. Part of the compliance. Sure. Yep, and so, sorry about that, that one was sent in pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then you could open it up, and I know Darren was able to open it up, but basically it's a real simple chart that says two of the highest one.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sandy felt really bad about that.
Oh, no.
Posted it, put it there.
I wondered, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's a good question. Most of the time, all those attachments should be
Yeah, everything else.
Item 8G is presented for review of the junior high elective courses plan for the request approval at February meeting. Continue to evaluate our offering for things that are useful and attractive. And I want to roll. That's all right. All right. So there is nothing under 9 personnel items as far as information. Item 10. So there's personnel items. So if we could take items 10A through D together. Because the others were all right here.
Okay.
So it's just 10A through D is my recommendation.
I have a motion for 10A through D. Second. Dan?
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Schwederman? Aye. Dr. Middleton?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye, motion carries. Next is executive session. Recommendation made to enter into executive session for specific purposes of consideration of the employment and appointment of a public employee or official and negotiation. Mr. Shaw.
Dr. Middleton?
Aye.
Ms. Bly?
Aye.
Mr. Schwederman?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
That concludes this part of the meeting. We're going to go into executive session. There won't be any action. Thank you.
Okay.